Hey, yo, it's Legend from the RW Wrestling Podcast, aka Dylan from the RW Wrestling Podcast, because the RW resident old guy doesn't understand the concept of nicknames. Even though we spend our entire time watching wrestling and critiquing and talking about matches involving at least 90% of the competitors not using their real names, but that's nor here nor there. Isn't that right, Albert? With that being said, me, Legend from the RW Wrestling Podcast, will be doing my from worst to best rankings of the Dark Order members as the newest member of the Dark Order, number 7, because Dustin motherfucking Rhodes decided that he didn't want to reprise his role as the shitty 7 character from WCW. And with that being said, I will start my countdown now with some honorable mentions. And coming as honorable mention number 1 is Hangman Adam Page, only because at the time of this recording he just said no to the Dark Order and he's not an official member. But as the story is being told, I have to put him in the honorable mention section because, like I said, he is not an official member, but I feel very much so that he will be an official member at some point down the line, whether it's next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, fucking a year. It won't be a year. But somewhere down the line between Revolution and Double or Nothing, he'll be a member, if not sooner. My second honorable mention is Tay Conti, because months and months ago, the Dark Order offered her a contract, and there was like, oh, hey, look, it's the Dark Order. And they made it look like it was nothing because it's kind of convoluted the way the Dark Order storyline works. But they've gone on to have Anna Jay at ringside for Tay Conti matches, and Anna Jay trying to help Tay Conti win, whether it's use a chair or whatever. But somehow they're still mingling together and being best friends, and I'm not going to cheat, but I'm going to be friends with you, so I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but I'd say it wouldn't hurt. I'm just going on a limb here. It wouldn't hurt for the Dark Order to add another female member, having Tay and Anna being as close as they were. They did the women's tag team tournament together, and they clearly had the chemistry, and that's kind of what I think is the point of this whole storyline, with them possibly adding Tay to the Dark Order. So it wouldn't hurt. But she's in the honorable mention section because at the time of this recording, she's not there. But moving on, the final super exciting member of the Dark Order's honorable mention section is Trent's mom, Sue. She's great. I don't understand. She shows up in BT and just throws paper at Silver, and it's just fucking great. That's all I have to say. Like, she's never going to be an official member. She just one time, Brody's like, fuck you. It's BT. We're bringing in Trent's mom, and she's going to throw papers at you. And that's exactly what happened, and it was great. It was hilarious. She deserves an honorable mention, and now we can move into the actual quote-unquote, because I have a few more things to say, start of this list. As I said, there are a few more things I want to say, and they involve the list. The top of the list, as it is, I'm going to skip from the bottom to the very, very, very top at the top of this list right now, and that is the Exalted One, Brody Lee. May he rest in peace, rest in power, as our RW podcast co-host would say. And -1, Brody Lee will hold, as Brody would say, is the end-all, be-all, most important member of the group. And -1 will always be there. -1, Brody Lee at the tippy top. And Brody Lee, with that being said, falls at 0 because 0 is the leader of the rest of this list. And I'm not going to go into Brody Lee here. We all know the tribute show was one of the best tribute shows we've all seen. And I will not comment on that at this point because we already did our show on it. But we'll move into the list starting now. Now, as we move into the actual list of the Dark Order members. There are 10 spots on this list. And you would say 10, there's only 8 active members of the Dark Order. Where you're going to get 10 from, it comes from the fact that number 10 itself is the obnoxiously horrible creepers that they had in the very beginning. And I only bring them up now because even in the New Year's Eve bit of BTE where 5 said he invited the creepers to the party and they didn't even show up. So in their own world, they involve the creepers, so as do I. At number 9 is, funny enough, is 2 people I didn't even know existed because they only showed up on one random Dynamite that they had a match, and it was in April, and it was 8 and 9. They show up at 9 just because they are recognized as members of the Dark Order. You never see them again, except for, I guess, according to the Wikipedia page, 9 shows up again in August at some point during a brawl or whatever. But now we get into the meat of the matter, and that is the current roster of the Dark Order that isn't Brody Lee and -1. And this is where things get a little interesting. Jesus, I can't speak. Coming in at number 8 is Evil Uno. I need to stress that I don't hate anybody within the Dark Order. I just don't have much to say on Evil Uno that's any good. They came in, they were a decent tag team, but they have the weird creepers. I already commented on that, and they were just weird. The Dark Order themselves were horrible until Brody Lee came along, which kind of ruins ruins Evil Uno, and to an effect Stu Grayson, even though we'll get to that later in the list. I do actually like Grayson, so we'll get to that. But Uno is, to me, the worst member of this group. Coming in at number 7 is Alex Reynolds, one half of the Beaver Boys. Came into AEW with John Silver, like I said, as one half of the Beaver Boys. They were basically job guys all the way up until they joined Dark Order, and they're still job guys. And then Brody Lee came along, and things picked up from there. Not necessarily for Alex Reynolds, but he's had his moments. But most notably, getting knocked out in the middle of the ring during a fatal 4-way tag competition. So that's not great. But he's not the star of this team, and we'll get to that later. Coming in at 6, Preston Vance. I like Preston Vance. The only problem I have is he's not utilized. I don't really like the mask. I don't like the mask on any of these guys, and we'll get to that later as well with 5. But Preston Vance can literally, he's jacked. He can beat the shit out of anybody. I guess in kayfabe wise, he's just a big muscular guy in the group. But in real life, he's dating Anna Jay, who's also a member of the Dark Order, but we'll get to that. I just need to see more. And I like him and some other members on this list a little more than where some of the other members are placed. But based off of what I've seen, he sits at number 6. And that brings me to number 5, which is Alan Angels, a.k.a. 5. And most of his best bits are on BTE. He's funny. Everybody in this group has built a personality through BTE. But based off of what I've seen them do in the ring, they get their ranking here. Alan Angels has had one fantastic match that I like, and that's why he gets above Preston Vance at 6. Alan Angels faced Kenny Omega in the empty arena in Atlanta during the time that they taped so many matches within whatever, and he faced Kenny in about a 7 to 8 minute match, and it was fantastic. And then they put him in the Dark Order, gave him a personality, gave him all that. Not much on TV, not much to go by outside of their BTE bits, and that's where he places on this list. Coming in at number 4 is Stu Grayson, the other half of the original tag team of the Dark Order, or otherwise known as the Super Mario Brothers, with Evil Uno. And I just don't like Evil Uno that much. I think Stu Grayson is fantastic. And if he was teaming with, say, I don't know if it would work, but say John Silver, and we'll get to him later, but Stu Grayson is extremely athletic. I don't think he can do anything on the mic. He's very, very, very heavy on the French-Canadian side, and it shows when he gets on the microphone, which isn't bad, but it doesn't help with an American audience, which is what AEW is trying to pick up on. So I don't know if he can jump higher on this list, but I really, really, really like Stu Grayson, which is why he gets to be number 4 on this list, which brings me to number 3, which for me is shocking as all hell, and probably to my co-host counterparts on the RW Wrestling podcast, is Colt Cabana. I've never really been a huge fan of Colt Cabana, but they utilize his character within the Dark Order to bring a sense of comedy to the TV portion of the Dark Order, because now they've done more and they're more actually babyface now than they were, because they brought Colt Cabana in. He was the comedy part when they were still trying to be quasi-heel, borderline, anti-hero, blah, blah, blah. But now they're straight up face, so it works even better. But like, they brought him in, like, oh, hey, Colt Cabana's here, but he doesn't really belong here, but he's just being a joke. And it fit, and now it fits even more now that they're face. But he reaches number 3 just because they utilized him to a point where I had to appreciate it. Number 2, coming in number 2, who wouldn't put Anna Jay at number 2? She went from somebody nobody knew. She debuted as the star of the show, and they tricked us all. Like, oh, she's the star of the show, and they're like, oh, this is big female debut. Gets fucking wrecked by Abaddon. And the Dark Order comes out, and they recruit her, and they turn her into 99, and she becomes a Queen Slayer. Who wouldn't think that her character was going to work? This works so well, and if she isn't AEW World Champion in like a year, I'd be surprised. I'm actually surprised they didn't give it to her about a month and a half back when she had the title match with Sheeta. Sheeta's been champion for a while. Anybody who faces Sheeta in the next couple months could win the belt, because she's been champ forever. And maybe it should have been Anna Jay. But coming in at the ultimate number 1 spot, Johnny Hungy, John Silver, the king of BTE, the BTE champion. Everything he does that I've watched from his independent scene recently, when I was doing the RW random ass match reviews with Albert over here. RW's wrestling old guy, because, nicknames matter. But everything that I've seen of John Silver from his independent days to now, I can't believe they weren't doing this before. Like, I get he's teaming with with Alex Reynolds. Alex Reynolds is great. He's got something, but he's not John Silver. I don't know what it is, but John Silver's over since fucking Full Gear, Orange Cassidy. You watch it, you watch BT, you watch all this. John Silver is a clear number 1 member of the Dark Order, and if you disagree, then you're not paying enough attention. Because the current roster of the Dark Order, I can't say John Silver's going to lead the Dark Order. I don't think he can do that, but he's definitely the most entertaining member of the Dark Order, and at this point, I think that's what everybody needs. They need something on Dynamite that's a little bit jokey, entertaining, and the guy can go. So I'm not going to the guy can fucking go, and he's entertaining. I'm not saying he can be a world champion, but who says a TNT title reign couldn't happen at some point? But that's what I got for you. Hope you guys enjoyed. And one last thing. Join the Dark Order. We are one. Peace.